My name is Nina and I'm a campaigner for Stay Grounded. Stay Grounded is an international network consisting of more than 180 member organizations, among them NGOs, grassroots initiatives, indigenous groups and unions. Together, we strive for a reduction of air traffic towards a just mobility system for all, and we voice our criticism against greenwashing and problematic climate strategies such as agri-fuels or offsetting in order to compensate aviation emissions. There are many reasons why we have to reduce air traffic. Let me give you 6 reasons to get the picture. Number 1. Flying is the most climate-damaging mode of transport. In 2018, the best estimates for aviation's overall contribution for that year to global heating was 5.9%. Let's put this number into perspective. So, if aviation was a country, it would be between the 5th and 7th worst polluters in the world, behind Japan and before Germany. Number 2. Flying is the most unequal mode of transport. The climate impact of aviation you just heard about is even more striking when you know only 1% of the world's population causes 50% of commercial aviation, while more than 80% of the population never even set foot on a plane. Number 3. Pollution from aircraft is rapidly accelerating. Between 2013 and 2019, emissions from passenger aircraft increased by 33%, outpacing improvements in fuel efficiency. To put it differently, emissions rose by a third in just 5 years, and the aviation industry strives for continuous growth in the future. Number 4. Flying is the fastest way to fry the planet. It is the most climate-damaging mode of transport. Due to the speed and the long distances, flying emits many times more CO2 than other means of transport, such as trains, cars, and coaches. Number 5. If you are now thinking, I don't fly that much anyways, get this. If everyone in the world only flew once a year, let's say from London to New York and back, the worldwide CO2 budget for staying below the 1.5 degrees of global heating would be exhausted within 34 years from flying alone. Number 6. Flying is extremely hard to decarbonize. The International Air Transport Association, which is the airline industry's international lobbying body, regularly sets targets for jet fuel substitutes, such as e-fuels or agri-fuels. And you know what? The industry reliably fails to meet them. We cannot rely on such technologies to be ready and widely available in time. So as you can see, we really got a problem. Inevitably, there will be a change in aviation and tourism. There is no way around that. The question is, will it be by design or by disaster? Will this transition be just or unjust? We advocate for a just transition because it is key to protect workers and those parts of the population that are currently dependent on the fossil fuel industry. The demand for a just transition has been developed by trade unions and the climate justice movement. Just transition for us is a comprehensive process that helps to preserve the future of workers, communities, and the planet. A just transition is no excuse for delaying action. It is an argument for starting democratic transition processes right now. A just transition can only be just if it is also fast enough. Let me give you some principles for a just transition. Providing social protection, access to healthcare, and income security for workers and their families. Promoting alternative employment opportunities and investing in education and retraining. Global support for just transition, especially by those countries with high historical and current emissions. Downscaling plans for airports, airlines, aerospace industry, and mass tourism resorts in line with the 1.5 degree limit. The transition must be democratic and include workers and affected communities at all steps. To find more elaborate information in our discussion paper on just transition, find the link in the description. How fast production can be switched if there is enough pressure became visible in the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. An Airbus plant in Broughton, UK was repurposed to produce life-saving ventilators. One example of a plan how a transition for a whole airport region could look like is the Green New Deal for Gatwick. Gatwick is UK's second largest airport. The report examines latent skills potential held by former aviation workers and proposes a constructive, positive investment in quality, secure jobs, jobs that meet the present and future needs of communities and the environment. For well under half the annual tax break the government gives to Gatwick, it could set the whole surrounding area on a zero carbon trajectory and create thousands of secure, fulfilling jobs in the process. One inspiring example of a conversion of disused airports is Berlin, Tempelhof. In the very center of Berlin, the former Tempelhof airport now serves as a huge recreational park with long skating tracks, community gardens, art spaces, and even new bird and insect habitats. Airports could also be converted to research centers, hospitals, or other useful purposes. Aviation is operated within the limitations of the planet's and countries' emission budgets. Flights are prioritized for those who really need them, for example, for humanitarian emergencies or where no alternative mode of transport exists. Frequent business travels are replaced with online conferences for a big majority. Climate-friendly travel modes also exist, like in particular night trains, coaches, and modern sailing and solar ships. While reducing the quantity of tourism overall, a different type of tourism and travel emerged. Fewer but longer trips, slower travel, and considering the journey as an adventure for itself. There are no more bailouts for airlines and the aviation industry with taxpayers' money. Instead, investments were made into just transition processes. Advertising is banned and there are restrictions for lobbying by the aviation industry. To achieve a just transition of aviation, we need to widely discuss visions for other forms of mobility and travel to create a cultural shift. We need to limit corporate power on government decisions and rather incentivize critical debates inside trade unions and amongst workers. We need to build political pressure through workplace and other actions, challenging reluctant politicians by large-scale protests, advocacy, and other means. Let's not wait for a change by disaster. Let's start now with a change by design.